Welcome back to New England Living. Up next, renowned chef Charles Draghi turns an invasive species into an incredible seafood bisque. Chef Charles Draghi has been a fixture in the local restaurant scene for decades. On his way to earning a degree from Harvard, he honed his craft at some of the city's top restaurants. Now the executive chef at Alcove in Boston's West End, Chef Chuck is known for his commitment to helping create non-traditional, sustainable food sources, including his work with the invasive green crab. We're here at the Clarke Sub-Zero and Wolf Showroom, and I am joined by Chef Charles Draghi from Alcove. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we know what you're making today, green crab. Why did you pick this ingredient?
Because they're delicious. They have really beautiful flavor. We're going to coax out with lots of olive oil. We don't use a lot of butter or cream in this one. This is a very classic bisque. So we're going to take the green crabs, which were previously frozen, defrosted, put them in the pot, turn the heat up a little bit. You can already hear I'm starting to sizzle. The flavor of the crab, a lot of it is inside the body. So as you saute them, if you take a spoon and you just sort of crush them down a little bit, that helps coax the flavor out.
You also get a little arm workout in.
You do,
making this
absolutely.
Meal. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little workout. Well, you know, you got to earn your meal, right? So we have mirepoix vegetables here. This is all in the recipe. You want to get everything caramelizing, some spices, lots of fennel. That's really wonderful here. Some herbs. We're gonna let all this just saute for a while. Now, the flavor of this bisque, the key of it is caramelization. So you wanna keep on sauteing till you get little brown bits of caramel on the bottom of the pan. That comes from the water that comes out of the crabs. And you know, as you crush them, you get a little bit more, you get the flavor of the roe and all that. So this is a classic lobster bisque recipe, but putting the crabs in, you get a much deeper oceany flavor. They're also an invasive species, so we're trying to, you know, alleviate the problems with that. Their favorite food is soft shell clams. So they're delicious because they're eating really good clams, but then it makes steamers very expensive. So we're trying to get them used more and more in restaurants. Now, even with a very large crab, there's not a lot of meat inside of them. So the flavor is locked inside the crab itself. You want to coax that out. So a bisque is a perfect way because you saute it, and then when you puree it, all the flavors come together. Oh, it already smells fantastic.
It's smelling pretty good already.
Yeah, there's rosemary, fennel, there's white pepper. It's beautiful.
Now, you mentioned that they are an invasive species, and if you're in New England, you see them on the beaches everywhere. So why are they becoming such a problem?
Well, part of it is the global warming and that they're getting a little bit more aggressive and they're moving a little bit more northward where there's a lot of clams. They're also just breeding, you know, and there isn't a natural predator, so their population is exploding. Now, they're very popular in Europe to eat. In Italy, for instance, soft shell crabs, when you get them, are green crabs, and they're fantastic, they're delicious. You know, chefs, we like to eat a lot of things that most other people are like, you eat what? You know, like we like things like snails and eels and all kinds of things. So this is one of those ingredients, the green crab, that is really delicious. I think it's very accessible to a lot of people. If people like crab bisque or shrimp bisque or lobster bisque, they'll love this because it's like all the best flavor profile of that, but concentrated. Now here, I don't know if you can see in the pan, a little bit of brown here, see? So now, best tool in a kitchen, a wooden spoon. Simplest, goes back thousands of years probably or more. But this is perfect because all you do is you just sort of, see how you scrape?
Yep.
And when you scrape that caramelization, it makes these little caramelized beads, which I call flavor crystals, right? And that's where all your flavor is gonna come from. The trick of this soup is the less caramelization, the lighter the flavor. The more caramelization, the deeper and more powerful the flavor. So you can make it as light and bright as you want, or you can make it as deep and roasty as you want.
You're a New England guy. You're from the area, you went to Harvard, you have a degree from there. What is it like now being so immersed in the restaurant scene, having worked at so many great restaurants in the city, and introducing fun menu items like this?
I love it. You couldn't do the business if you didn't love it. But it's a love of ingredients. Sometimes it's not just about what's cool and crazy for the imagination. It's also what really tastes so good that you want to cry. And to me, this is one of those things.
After it's been doing this for about 20 minutes, what's the next step?
Yeah, so you see all the nice caramelization. So now you add the liquid. Let's do white wine. You want to have a nice white wine. The rule of thumb with wine is you never want to cook with a wine you wouldn't drink, right?
I like that
rule. A little
rule.
bit. You put some dry sherry, or in this case, marsala. And then the water from the crabs, when they defrost it, you save that because it has a lot of flavor in it. Some plain old water. And then a little tomato paste. This is the key. Rice. The rice will cook, and later on, you're just gonna puree everything together. And the starch of the rice mixes with the body fat of the crab and the richness of the roe, and that makes the body of the bisque without cream or butter or anything else. That makes the richness.
Now that it's smelling really good, looking really good, what's the final step?
So you let it simmer about 30 minutes, puree it, strain it, and then you wind up with this. Nice, rich, full-flavored bisque. Here, I'll pour some for you.
The moment I have been waiting for.
Oh, yeah. I know, the smells are just killing us.
This looks absolutely incredible, and it smells even better. Wow, the bold flavors.
Yes.
I've never had something like this before.
Isn't that great?
That is incredible.
If you want to make this at home, go to wolfsfish.com, and they sell packets of the green crabs, 3 pounds. You can make a small batch or a large batch, and it's very, very easy to cook.
And we have a wine to pair with this, the Beringer Private Reserve Chardonnay from Napa Valley. It was actually a Wine Spectator Wine of the Year. How does this pair with the bisque?
It's perfect because it has that richness and the body and the backbone to stand up to the bisque, and that bright acidity, the green gold apple that really brings up the flavor of the crab. You know, you really need a wine of this caliber to enrich the bisque and to make it a great pairing.
Wine and crab bisque. This is a good day. Cheers.
Cheers.